Hi everyone. In our day to day life, we have come across rivers which are filled with waste that create a foul smell around. Since these wastes are sedimented and floating in the river, it is very tough to remove these waste and it requires some special equipments to do so. Because of these constraints, the river is being polluted a lot and there is no permanent solution till now, which is provided for perfect cleaning of waste in the river. There are several existing methods in cleaning the waste in water bodies, but all those methods are costly and require special equipments to proceed. Since they are costly, we could not employ them in all the circumstances. The main problem statement that I have taken is that the present rivers are being polluted by lot of waste and there's no prevailing economical means of garbage collection in these water bodies. Now my idea. This is my idea and let me come to the design later. First, I'll explain what my idea is. My idea consists of the following: a normal boat operated by manpower, a waste collecting tray, and collecting mechanism. I have used completely mechanical parts in my design. My design consists of a floater, a seat, a chain drive, a belt drive, a sprocket, a rack and a spur gear setup, a crank, some pedals, shafts, propellers, and a collecting tray. Now, let me explain about the board that I have used. This board consists of a base which is rested upon two floaters that will be contacting water and make the base float on the water. There is a seat in the boat for the driver to sit. This boat is operated by means of pedaling, which we could have seen in picnic spots. By pedaling the crank, which in turn rotates the sprocket attached to the same shaft. This sprocket is connected to another sprocket by means of a chain drive, which in turn rotates the propellers attached in its shaft. Thus, by pedaling, the propellers at the back of the boat rotates, thereby giving us the thrust to move forward in the river. The direction in which the boat should travel is controlled by means of two directing structures which is connected to a same shaft, and that shaft is connected to a handle by which the driver could control the direction of motion of the boat. Now let me go into the waste collecting tray and the collecting mechanism that I have taken. Now there is a small crank that's provided near the arm of the driver. This crank could be rotated by the driver, and if rotated, it rotates a sprocket which is connected to a shaft and connected to the crank by means of a belt mechanism. This sprocket in turn rotates the shaft, and a spur gear is attached to this shaft. Thus, the sprocket rotates the spur gear. This spur gear is attached to a rack. Thus, it forms a rack and pinion setup. Thus, on rotating the spur gear, the rack gets a linear motion. Thereby, we are converting the rotational motion that we provide to the crank into a linear motion that is converted by means of a rack. A collecting tray is provided at the bottom of the rack. Thus, as the rack moves down and up, the collecting tray also moves up and down with the rack. According to the place we want to collect the waste, we could vary the length of the rack. Thereby, this product is feasible in all the areas. Now, as the crank rotates, the collecting tray connected to the rack is lowered till it reaches the desired height. Then we pedal the boat forward, and as the boat pedal is pedaled and is moving forward, the waste that comes on the way or is floating on water or is sedimented in rivers gets collected on the collecting tray. This is nothing but a simple mechanism by which we could just keep in contact with the ground, and if we move forward we could find that the particles in the ground could come into the plane or our hand by which we push. So through this mechanism I'm following the motion and getting the required output that I need. Now, this collecting tray would not leave the waste to escape as it is enclosed on three sides and just opening one side, which could be against the flow of water. As the collecting tray comes up, which is made to come up by the driver when he reaches a desired destination. Now, as the collecting tray comes up, it stops at a particular position. This is achieved by means of a small pin that's provided in the frame to which the rack is attached. So, this pin would just spring up and down by locking and releasing the motion of the rack. By following this mechanism, we could collect the waste easily. Now, the technologies that is involved here are none other than completely mechanical, having the chain drive, belt drive, and a rack and gear setup. The advantages of this design is this is completely controlled by manpower, so it does not require huge investment. That is, it's cheap. It does not require rechargeability. Again, reducing the cost of the vehicle, operating cost of the vehicle. Large manpower is also not required since this is a small vehicle designed for a single person, single driver, and the components of the vehicle are also in less in weight. It could also be used for dredging the river, which is an added benefit for this design. It could clean the waste effectively as a wide collecting tray is provided. Larger the surface area, larger is the waste that it could collect. It does not require any skilled labor to operate since these mechanisms are easy to be controlled and need not require any specific skills. Now, let me get into the design of the mechanism. This is the working part of the mechanism. Here we could find that here we could find that as it's pedaled we could move forward, and here are the direction blades, and this rack is operated by a handle which is connected by means of a belt drive, and the up and downward motion of the rack, thus the color which is in turn connected with the collecting tray, is achieved. Now this is an exploded view, that is the parts. It shows just the parts that I've made and designed for this particular product. Now this shows the entire model as a whole, a three-dimensional structure of the model. Thank you.